So here we are with Mysteries of Mystara, number 38. And we're doing another possible player character race or species or subspecies or subrace or however you like to say it. The Kogolor Dwarves. Now, the Kogolor Dwarves can be found in either the Hollow World inside the planet Mystara or inside the Hollow Moon. And both the Hollow World and the Hollow Moon are living museum worlds. The immortals or the gods of Mystara, they collected various species, races, and cultures that were going to go extinct in regular Mystaran history. So if you were on the surface of the planet Mystara, regular history has played out, and there have been kingdoms and empires and cultures and peoples and species that have come and gone. Well, it all started with a particular immortal in Mystara named Ka the Preserver. And, with an epithet like the Preserver, you kind of see, where this is going. But Ka, in his mortal life, before he became an immortal, he was a Carnifex. And the Carnifex were one of the very first sentient races on Mystara. Not humans, not elves. One of the very first sentient races on Mystara were like dinosaur sentient humanoid races. And the Carnifex were kind of like intelligent Tyrannosauruses. And so Ka was one of them. And when he ascended to immortality and became a deity, there came a time where he watched his people die out and watched the Carnifex go extinct. And he didn't like that very much, watching his whole people go extinct. And so in history, and so as an immortal, in Mystara's like religious deity system, because there is an immortals boxed set for beyond 30th level, ascension to immortality can be, like a campaign goal. But Ka, as he grew to become a more and more powerful immortal and could do more and more cool things, he decided that he was going to make sure that mass extinction kind of thing never happened again. He didn't like that. He didn't like watching the whole Carnifex people go extinct. So Ka got some other deities into this plan, and they started out. And when they discovered that the inside of Mystara was hollow, they decided there was nothing in there at first. They decided to make a world in there with seas and oceans and plants, and they even made an artificial sun by opening up a gate to the plane of elemental fire that was miles wide. So in the hollow world, there's no nighttime. There's only daytime. And the sun is more red than like our real life sun. But they put species there. They put cultures and ways of life and certain magics and just things that were going to die, go extinct on the outside world. And so the Hollow World is basically a museum world of Mystara's past. And why stop there? So when some other deities found out that the moon was also hollow, they went for it there too, but they did a little different stuff in the moon. So they did not put an artificial sun inside the moon. Inside the moon, things are very dark. And without going into the whole moon system and everything, because this is supposed to be about the Kogolor Dwarves, the Kogolor Dwarves are a species that was preserved in both the Hollow World and the Hollow Moon. You'll find them in both settings. Nobody's ever played a Kogolor Dwarf at my table before, but I have had a dwarf player character played by somebody at my table who married an NPC Kogolor Dwarf. Like he was actually a shield dwarf from the Forgotten Realms, and he wound up taking a Kogolor Dwarf wife from the Hollow World. But so no one's ever played one yet. But Kogolor Dwarves in Mystara, they are the original dwarven ancestor race. They're the original race of dwarves from which all the other, types, variations of dwarfs came from. And the Kogolor Dwarves, they're fun. They're kind of silly and fun. They have not gotten they're very happy dwarves. They have not had the things happen to them in their history that have made a lot of dwarves that you think of in typical D&D be grouchy or grumpy or grim or brooding. So the Kogolor dwarves, they're not brooding or grim or grouchy or anything. They also do not have any. Well, they have one. I'll get to that in a moment. It's kind of cool, but they don't have most of the dwarven skills that you normally associate with dwarves. That stuff got invented later, so they haven't figured out mining and smithing and forging and all this stuff that dwarves are famous for their skills. The Kogolor dwarves didn't have that yet. The one skill the Kogolor dwarves do have, apparently, is just the first one ever in dwarven history, and I guess this is proof that this is the first one dwarves ever had. The first crafting skill that dwarves ever had, apparently, was brewery. The Kogolor dwarves, they can make some alcohol, and they like to party. And so apparently brewing was the very first of the dwarven skills, because the Kogolor dwarves have had it from the beginning. One skill that the Kogolor dwarves do have that other dwarves might not have, I don't know how helpful this would be to you as a player character if you played one, but it is kind of cool to have in your sheet, is the yodeling. So just like Bavaria or Switzerland or something like that, the Kogolor dwarves yodel, yodel hee-hoo, and they can communicate through yodeling in the mountains for miles, just like yodeling in real life, like what yodeling's been used for in history. And so they're yodeling dwarves, and they wear lederhosen. So Kogolor dwarves, they can be fun. They are they're another possible player character race. So I'm actually getting kind of backed up on player character races as the player characters explore the Hollow Moon in our Hollow Moon event. They're meeting races that are sort of unique to Mystara that you could play. That I want to hit those here. So coming up soon, we're going to have a video on Pegatars. And a video on Kogolians. So until then, we'll see you in game.
So right now I'm sitting outside on a patio making D&D videos as part of what I do to get paid. I'm a professional game master, and if you're a game master and you've thought of making some money at it, you can too. We have at the Game Shop's basement a 7 days to Pro GM course that teaches in 7 lessons what took me 50 days to do, to build up my business to the point where I don't need my job anymore. So that's kind of exciting. Or maybe you just want to make a little extra money, have a little bit of a diverse income stream. That's kind of a smart thing to do these days with the world being all crazy. Or you might want something that you can work from home without having to go anywhere. Well, check into Pro DMing. So at GameShopsBasement.com, at the top of the webpage, we've got a banner that will take you to a page where you can learn more information about the 7 days to Pro GM course. And it's fun. It's exciting. Check it out.